Hi, Scorpio. This is your Libra season reading, October 2024 reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended reading, which will be in the first link below, which will be on Patreon. It comes out the same day as this reading. If you subscribe, you'll get it right to your inbox. So if you're interested, please check that out. But without further ado, and happy birthday to any October Scorpios, almost your season. And so we're gonna get a little into the subconscious, a little into what my notes are down as instincts. And that feeling of trusting your instincts and not being deterred or adverse to what you find. What has happened, or what maybe has begun to happen now that Venus has entered into Scorpio, you are seeing wherever you have been given too much energy to, especially within the past 6 months to 6 years. I think for a lot of you, this is more of the eclipse cycle, so 6 months. You're realizing that it was distracting you from realizing where you actually are or where you have been. Regardless of what it looks like externally, it's showing you where you've also maybe been hiding behind. You know, you may not realize at times, most people don't, how much we can hide and hide behind what we think is protecting us, but really it's keeping us from acknowledging something really important, or finding the moment of stillness, the moment of centering, to be able to receive the information we're meant to receive. So that what I think you know is that when you receive the information, because of how Knight of Wands and Four of Pentacles, from Four of Swords to Four of Pentacles, it reveals to you how much you may act off of emotional instinct. And though that may have had I had trouble with that exact sentence recently, back to English class, you may have had that come up, and you may notice it reveal itself even more of where you, and it's not that it hasn't served you, it's that it has. But if it has become more of a reaction instead of a true response to what's happening, I think you're just becoming more aware of what sets you off in that way. And it's not necessarily a negative thing, but this is about what Libra season is exposing are the things that we can put on the scales instead of putting it to the sword, right? We can really, everyone and anyone can get that confused sometimes. And what this is telling you is that your instincts are correct, but it's how you decide to make decisions based off of those emotional instincts. And in this moment, and in the week ahead, and in this time when Venus is in Scorpio, right? But either way, it's drawing you to a place where you're finding, well, what do you actually enjoy? What is worth your time? What is worth your energy? What do you need to give more energy? What do you need to give more sunlight? Whatever decision you're wanting to act upon, whatever you're finding out about your motivations at this time, it's becoming clear where you've built from and how that's helped you get to where you are. But now, I mean, the child is the innermost instinct. As someone who's worked with children enough and been around enough kids, and have been one myself, a lot of times kids won't be afraid to, most kids, not all, depending on their upbringing, of course, but most kids will be very honest with you until a certain age, unless they've learned to lie to themselves and others earlier, and unfortunately that does happen. But the innermost instinct is that which lights you up. So whatever you find or whatever comes to you during this time of deep understanding, for Scorpio risings, a new 12th house, for Scorpio suns, this is still the subconscious showing up in your life. What it's exposing you to is needing to connect to that part of yourself more in a way that doesn't make you feel stuck. Interested. Or give you a ceiling. Hoo-hoo. Hoo-hoo. How about it? We'll talk about it in a second. All right. We'll have a solar eclipse in the Aries full moon in a couple weeks, right before things start to shift into your sign. This is a part of your ego that you can no longer ignore, that you need to deeply connect with this part of your inner child so that you don't ignore something really powerful that is meant to help you keep this momentum very true to yourself. Because the instinct is that you, as you connect with yourself in this way, not running away from it, but going towards the insight, not just taking it and acting from it, but notice what happens through your body. Notice where you can find or sit with in order to create your own solution at this time. Also, and I am not a doctor or healthcare practitioner, you may find something that is very healing within your brain acting and giving yourself the attention that you need at this time may heal something very deep within you. Because my partner, who is a Scorpio, he even relayed this information to me. There is a certain bacteria they have found in the ocean. I heard bacteria, I heard fungi, either way, found in the ocean that created a solution for absolving plastic. So when you're able to see and not be afraid of the problem at hand, or not react to the problem at hand, because sometimes a reaction is reacting out of fear. Sometimes it is instinct, right? But right now, there's no need to feel that way. Whatever is happening in your life just is reminding you of something, but you're not, for those of you who are in a situation, I do believe that you should seek further help in that situation. But for those of you who are dealing with something that has maybe been a reoccurring pattern or something that has showed up before, what you can know is that you're different and you can handle this different as long as you're willing to see the opportunity at hand. The ocean created a healing for itself. It needed, and I'm sure it wasn't easy. I don't know what goes on in the ocean's consciousness, but when you're forced inside, when something has forced you inside into those parts of you where you can move through, where it gives you kind of not so much an excuse, but a way to prove or provide a reason for some information. But this is about you connecting to what that light shining amongst yourself is, and that's you being able to be in yourself in a way that you can use this energy, because what I think the beginning of, but right before the eclipse in Libra is preparing you for, is to be able to feel all this powerful energy where you can then create your life in a way where it's transforming with you. This situation brought you to a place where your heart can open, where your ego, an ego death for some of you, and I'm sorry if that came up last month, but it's maybe persistent and really needing you to learn this lesson, is this ego death in terms of needing to really allow insight for whatever you've been changing, shifting perspective on. And if it has been a physical death or some kind of death within you, you will receive the insight once you become less attached. Because, and that's what this is saying here, is that, and we'll get into that in a second, that the abundance of energy that you have to create, to move forward, you start to feel in moments where you really ground yourself into the energy of being revealed what you need to see in order to accept, in order to realize that wherever places you have been taken internally to reach a place where you can heal yourself and trust that your body has the natural resilience to heal. And again, seek further help if you need it. But if your healing is trauma-based, which then can get into the body, and Mars heavy, so the sexual system, if you need to check out anything, and if it's your muscles or the sexual organs, I highly recommend taking a look at those. It looks like you may have been going through a total regeneration, and maybe you need to support that regeneration in some way, maybe even the endocrine system. Just coming to me, please look into it. But something heavy is weighing on your mind that brings up this regeneration, maybe through generations, and it's bringing forth to you what you've been maybe like even mulling over for some time now. And Venus in your sign is really good for you, because life, if you get here, life starts to not look so much like the Five of Cups where he's looking down. It's more of like, what has that brought for you? What part of that is a healthy attachment for then you to trust what's coming next? To trust the way that you weigh out things, where you want to put your sword. Mercury has now entered Libra, Scorpio rising, that's in your 12th house. Revealing to you, and then through this eclipse cycle as well, that through the darkness, through being with yourself, seeing your light, going through this ego death, that also brings you much abundance. It doesn't feel like it's hand in hand, but that's letting go of control, is not wanting to control. For you, it can be wanting to, at times, especially for the more imbalanced masculine, I believe, you want to control like the feeling of the environment, the vibe. Libra season's like, nah, I don't want to be controlled. Sorry. And then we have Jupiter and Gemini. My luck is not able to be controlled, but I'll show you where I'm show you where, not where it's leaking, but where it's being hidden. Okay. I was curious about the eclipses. We got a lot of cards out. We're gonna use them all, baby. We're gonna do it. Okay. Weighing some options out. Okay. Okay. So I'm loving this red, aren't you? Okay. The moons are showing you house of work, subconscious. The eclipse season is bringing you to a place where you will feel a reset in the areas, but it's making you come to a decision if you're ready. Three in the middle, we have the Three of Cups, and we have the Three of Swords. It feels freeing to be independent, to know what you have, to be good at what you do. It also feels good to, or it may be really important, growth, to see yourself as someone who is meant to be heard amongst others, needs to listen to the instinct, because what you have found and recreated again is something really important that needs to be heard. And let's put them down. The eclipses make you go through this understanding of how the certain energy that you have so much of, where it can be utilized to balance your life, where you have maybe been finding control over obsessing about certain things amongst groups of people or amongst your vices. Pluto goes direct in Capricorn in your third house for Scorpio risings. And it tells you to take responsibility for your health. It tells you to take responsibility. No one else is going to help you. Other people, of course, will help you live your life, do your thing, but no one's going to know what you need. Ultimately, you know, and your instincts are... So ultimately, what I wanted to get to and what I was hoping to get to, but also not, but and through this way, is that your instincts are guiding you and they're healing you. So if you need to talk it out with someone who is highly intuitive, someone or some guidance that you're not overly attached to, but has been a big part of shifting your life. This could be Libra season, this could be a Gemini, but this could just be a person where there is, and this could even be your conversation here. And as we get into even deeper into the second part, this is regenerating your ability to not only lead, but be led by your instincts, which means that you trust other people's instincts. So there's a trust developing even more so. And your ability to not, this is the call to make certain things less heavy on those scales. The sword is helping you realize what you've been holding on to, and maybe you've been cleaning out your house because everyone and their mother has been, I feel like. So maybe you start to do that, or maybe it's like what you've held on to internally that's not helping the vision that you have moving forward, and what you've experienced in the beginning of the month. Here it all is leading up to this point of total transformation, is being able to grieve and accept and respect all the parts of you that got you here, because you couldn't be here. So a huge part of, and I don't agree, that's another conversation. I think spiritually, AA or recovery systems are really important to, or just even diagnosis at all. So again, not entirely in that space, and maybe that's something you want to check out or look into more. But sometimes having the diagnosis what it does is helps you accept where you are. It's not about staying there, but staying there long enough where it's actually aiding you and saying, okay, I have this, so it's helping me move forward. And even if that takes you 100 times, the more that you accept and can sit with and face, Emperor here facing forward, Justice here facing forward, Chiron's also in Aries, that's the inner child, facing these things that can seem arbitrary, but if it keeps coming up in your mind, it keeps coming up in your life, something has to be said for what that is doing, coming up over and over again, in order for you to engage with the energy to transform something. And it will keep knocking, because the universe especially if you have the intention, but the universe wants what's best for you. And that's something you also have to come to believe on your own. There's also a lot of 4s out here. So pay attention to 4s in your life, perhaps, maybe. But it's having you realize that the ways in which you've also connected to the things that have been in the shadow, communications, a lot of times avoiding those communications can become normal, of course, especially if your voice was not heard for a long time or it wasn't appreciated. And now that you're coming into a space where it is, you realize where certain connections are going to be doing much better with that. What feels hard, but it's really the energy just lingering between the connection, but it actually makes the connection grow stronger, deeper. Venus and Scorpio. Your money growing stronger and deeper into no matter what you're doing right now is going to give you fruition. One thing I can say is if there's something specific you want, make sure you end it with wanting the best thing for you. You want that thing, but you want what's even best for you, even if it's just like that thing, but better for you. So you're not calling in something specific and doing something that can come back around. Karma. Mars is in Cancer. Eclipse is wrapping up in Libra. Just be careful of your karma right now. And if you're curious about your history or how you're similar to your bloodline, and you've been thinking about that, give yourself a chance to receive the messages from that space. Some of you may only want to be responsible for yourself at this time, and you're noticing how you're needing to find your own separate space in the world. You want to feel connected, but there's a part of you that still wants your independence. And there's something to be said about that, and it sounds like it's very healthy. If you're thinking about making a change in your life and you don't know what to do, this is also saying that more information will be coming to you, maybe through gossip. And it may make you very clear and very sure about cutting ties or being very done with something or being less connected to a certain situation tied to your money, tied to how you show up in the world. That's also something else, your work. Very much your work, especially around the 17th. Just be careful again. That's where I talked about being reactionary. If your instinct is to take a step back, just do something to begin practicing that and cleaning up your system. Talk about the ocean creating its own fungi or bacteria for cleaning up its system. Whatever, I will say also about that, whatever it is that you didn't think could heal, this has a time to majorly transform and make headway on that, which will also bring you, I think, so much freedom within, and clear up some things that you may thought were going to take longer, but don't. Pluto is very much encouraging conversation, communication at this point, especially you talking to yourself, you talking to the universe, you talking and saying what you want, and then you'll start to notice how each step is actually getting you closer. You start to pick up on the connection there and who you come across and who you meet and who you interact with. Lots of powerful energy in this reading. It's really important to trust yourself at this time, and wherever you don't, ask for help. Ask for help. Okay. Yeah. New money, new ways of money, old ways of money, security, all of it. And secrets. Secrets being revealed, which reveals your own secrets to yourself. I mean, who's not interested in that? We'll see you in the next part, Scorpio. Happy early birthday, and we'll see you next month. All information is below, too.